We are a user-led organisation based in Hale in Cornwall. We have a lot of different services that we run from Disability Cornwall. So we actually teamed up with Hale Rugby Club and with the Cornish Oven Bakery, and we created the kitchen. We used our strong social media platforms to advertise. We also leaflet dropped around the community, given the fact that so many people weren't online, and then used our dial advice service to have all the bookings come through. So they were taking all the telephone orders for us because they were open 5 days a week, alongside all their normal calls too. So we ran the community kitchen from the rugby club. We had help from their steward, Sharon, and we also had 2 amazing chefs. So we actually delivered 11,000 meals, plus the cake, which was the most important bit by far. We actually delivered to 501 people over the 14-week period that the kitchen ran. The people that benefited most from what we were doing were the people who were vulnerable. Some was, due to health conditions, a disability, their carers as well, people living with cancer, and a lot of older people too. It was a real mix. And we had some who were single parent young families who also had someone vulnerable living with them. It was just a bit of everybody, really. So one lady, she'd only eaten a packet of crisps for the whole week, until we'd spoken to her. And it really brought it home to us, and it shocked us really, because not that you're not aware of people in these situations, but when you actually hear it firsthand, it really hit us hard. There was a young mum who herself had only a liquid diet, and her young daughter loved the meals each week because she was getting to try new things, taste new things that she'd never had before. And actually they painted pictures and coloured in pictures, and they made homemade jam, and they made jewellery, they made bracelets, necklaces, anklets for us to actually take with us and deliver to all the other people, as they wanted to give something back for the kindness that they were receiving. We actually heard from a few people that the 2 hot meals, the cake, the dried foods were actually the only meals that people were eating every week, because they weren't able to get food shopping and cook for themselves. We had one lady who, she lives on her own. She had no friends or family, and she'd been that way for about 8 years. She would only ever leave the house for essential food shops, and she'd get public transport to the shops and home again, and that was the only social outing that she would have each week. So when we started delivering to her, she actually said that our community heroes were the only people that she'd had a proper conversation with in nearly 8 years, which was just absolutely mind-blowing for us. We've actually seen how lonely people are, how isolated they are, how hard some people's lives truly are. It was eye-opening. But at the same time, it was so heartening seeing some of our clients out in their gardens waiting for their weekly meal. There was in some communities, they were cheering us down the road as we arrived with the bags of food. It was the best feeling that you could ever experience. And so many people said, look, besides the postman, our community heroes were the only people they'd see every week. So it was something so small to the community hero, say, but it meant the world to these people. So it was just phenomenal. And it was only sometimes, a chat over the garden wall. And, eventually we actually split up our deliveries a lot more, because we realized the value in that bit of conversation from the feedback that we were receiving. So we decided to slow down the deliveries to enable us more time with each person to actually give them the conversation that they really wanted to have. And it was priceless. It was really priceless. So it's also really showed us how much spirit and goodwill there is in the community. And when the pandemic caused us all to be locked down together, it actually really brought out the heart of the community, and it has just been phenomenal.